Admiral Hyan-Soo Park stood on the bridge of the Silent Thunder, watching the stars through the main screen. His ship was the newest and quietest vessel in Earth's fleet. Today they had a simple job: escort the human diplomats to the Galactic Council meeting. It should have been easy work. "Admiral, we're getting close to the council station," said Communications Officer Daeun Kim from her post. She was young but very good at her job. Her fingers moved quickly over the control panel as she monitored all the radio signals in space. "Good. Keep us hidden and watch for any problems," Hyun-Soo replied. He trusted his crew completely. They had worked together for 2 years without any major issues. Dr. Taemin Lee sat at his station near the back of the bridge. He was the ship's language expert, who could understand alien words better than anyone else in the fleet. Usually his job was quiet during escort missions. "Today would be different, Admiral," Daeun called out suddenly. Her voice sounded worried. "I'm picking up a strange signal. It's encrypted and coming from inside the council station." Hyun-Soo walked over to her station. "What kind of signal?" "I don't know yet. It's not using any normal council communication method. The encryption is really advanced." Daeun's hands moved faster as she tried to understand what she was hearing. Chief Engineer Min-Ho Choi looked up from his console. "I can boost our listening power if you need it. We have some new equipment that might help." "Do it," Hyun-Soo ordered. Something felt wrong about this situation. The council meetings were always open and public. Why would anyone need secret messages? Min-Ho worked quickly, redirecting power from other ship systems to their passive sensors. The Silent Thunder became even quieter in space, but their ability to hear grew much stronger. "Got it," Daeun said excitedly. "The signal is much clearer now. Dr. Lee, can you come look at this?" Taemin moved to her station and studied the data on her screen. His face became very serious as he read. "This is not good. This is really not good. What does it say?" Hyun-Soo asked. "It's a conversation between council members, but they're using code words. They're talking about something called protocol extinction, and they mention humans several times." The bridge became very quiet. Everyone stopped what they were doing to listen. Taemin continued working on the translation. His computer programs helped break down the alien words and codes. After 30 minutes, he had enough to understand the basic message. "Admiral," Taemin said slowly, "I think you need to sit down for this." Hyun-Soo remained standing. "Just tell me. The Galactic Council is planning to kill all humans. They're going to attack one of their own worlds and blame us for it. Then they'll unite all the alien species to destroy Earth and every human colony." The bridge crew stared at each other in shock. Daeun's hands shook as she continued monitoring the signals. "When?" Hyun-Soo asked. "In 72 hours. During the diplomatic ceremony when our people arrive at the station." Min-Ho stood up from his console. "That's impossible. The council has been working with humans for 5 years. Why would they want to kill us now?" Taemin studied more of the intercepted messages. According to this, they think humans are growing too powerful too quickly. Some council members are afraid that we'll take over the galaxy in the future. They want to stop us before we become a real threat. "But we've never threatened anyone," Daeun said. "Human ships only defend our own territory." "Fear doesn't always make sense," Hyun-Soo replied. He had seen this kind of thinking before during Earth's old wars. "Continue monitoring their communications. I need to know everything about their plan." For the next few hours, the crew of the Silent Thunder listened to more secret messages. They learned which alien species were part of the conspiracy and which ones didn't know about it. They found out exactly how the false attack would happen and which weapons would be used. The plan was clever. The Council would use human-style weapons to attack one of their most important worlds. They would make sure there were many alien casualties. Then they would show the evidence to all the other species and claim that humans had started a war of conquest. Most aliens didn't understand human technology very well. They would believe the false evidence easily. Within days, every species in the galaxy would be united against humanity. "We have to warn Earth," Min-Ho said. "Our diplomats are walking into a trap. If we break radio silence, the Council will know we were listening," Daeun pointed out. "They might change their plan or attack our ship." Hyun-Soo looked at the star chart on his screen. They were still 6 hours away from the Council station. The human diplomatic ship would arrive in 2 days. "We're going home," he decided. "Right now. What about our escort mission?" Taemin asked. "The diplomats will have to take care of themselves. If we don't get this information to Earth, everyone will die anyway." Dayun began preparing the ship for the jump to faster-than-light speed. Should I send a warning message to the diplomatic ship? Hyunsu thought carefully about this choice. If they warned the diplomats, the council might detect the message. But if they said nothing, good people would die in the false flag attack. Send a coded message, he finally decided. Tell them there's a weather problem at their destination and they should consider going home. Make it sound like normal ship talk. Yes, Admiral. The Silent Thunder began moving away from the council station. Their stealth systems kept them invisible as they prepared to jump to Earth. Behind them, the massive alien station continued its normal activities. Nobody there knew that their secret plan had been discovered. As the ship entered faster-than-light travel, Hyunsu looked at his crew. These young people had just learned that their species was about to face extinction. They looked scared but determined. We're going to stop this, he told them. Somehow we're going to find a way to save everyone. Dayun looked up from her console. Admiral, I'm getting a response from the diplomatic ship. They're turning around and heading back to Earth. Good. At least they'll be safe. Hyunsu sat down in his command chair. Now we just have to figure out how to save the rest of humanity. The stars blurred past them as the Silent Thunder raced toward home, carrying the most important intelligence in human history. The Silent Thunder dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Earth. Admiral Hyunsu Park had never been so happy to see the blue planet, but he knew this might be one of the last times anyone would see it peaceful. Get me direct contact with Earth Defense Command, he ordered. Priority Alpha Emergency. Da-Yoon Kim worked at her communications station. Connection established, Admiral. President Yang is waiting for you. The main screen showed President Sujin Yang sitting in the emergency command center. She looked tired but alert. Behind her, Hyunsu could see other important leaders gathering. Admiral Park, your message said this was urgent. What's the situation? Madam President, the Galactic Council is planning to destroy all human life. We have 48 hours before they start their attack. President Yang's face became very serious. Explain everything. Hyunsu told her about the intercepted messages and the false flag plan. Dr. Tae-Min Lee joined the conversation to explain the technical details. As they talked, more leaders appeared on the screen. Fleet Admiral Dong-hyun Kim stepped forward. Admiral Park, how reliable is this intelligence? 100% certain, sir. We recorded hours of their planning conversations. Dr. Lee has the full translations. General Yanwoo Park, who was not related to the Admiral despite sharing a name, looked angry. We should strike first, hit their military bases before they can organize. That would prove their point about humans being dangerous, President Yang replied. We need a different approach. A new voice joined the conversation. Strategic analyst Ji-Hoon Han appeared on the screen. He was known for finding creative solutions to impossible problems. Madam President, I have an idea. What if we turn their plan against them? Go on. They're counting on surprise and unified alien support. If we remove both of those advantages, their plan falls apart. President Yang nodded. I'm listening. We expose their conspiracy publicly and demonstrate that humanity is not the threat they claim we are. We show strength but also restraint. Dr. Yoon Ji-bae stepped into view. She ran the Quantum Communications Division and could send messages across the galaxy instantly. I can broadcast on every frequency we have access to, she said. Every alien species will hear our message at the same time. General Yanwoo looked skeptical. And what message would that be? Please don't kill us? President Yang stood up. No. We tell them exactly what their leaders are planning. And we give them a choice. What kind of choice? Admiral Dong-hyun asked. Ji-Hoon smiled for the first time since the conversation started. They can call off their attack and confess publicly or face the consequences. What consequences? General Yeonwoo demanded. We're outnumbered 1,000 to 1, are we? President Yang asked quietly. Admiral Park, in your opinion, do the aliens really understand human capabilities? Hyunsu thought about this question. No, Madam President. They think we're primitive because we haven't shared our best technology with them. Then maybe it's time for a demonstration. Dr. Yoonji began working on her communication equipment. What exactly should I broadcast? President Yang looked around the room at all the military and civilian leaders. Tell them we know about their plan. Give them 24 hours to stop it and confess. Make it clear that this is their only warning. And if they ignore us, General Yeonwoo asked, then we show them why that was a mistake. The next few hours were very busy. Dr. Yunji sent the warning message to every alien government in the galaxy. The message was simple and direct. We know what you're planning. You have 24 hours to call off the operation and publicly confess or face the consequences. At the same time, Captain Sung-Ho Lee prepared for a special mission. He was the best covert operations officer in the human military. His job was to plant evidence of the conspiracy where the Council couldn't hide it. Your team will insert into 3 different locations, President Yang explained to him. Plant the recorded conversations where their own people will find them. Let their citizens learn what their leaders are planning. Captain Seung-ho nodded. Understood, Madam President. When do we leave? Immediately. You have 18 hours to complete the mission. As Captain Seung-ho and his teams prepared to leave, something strange began happening throughout the galaxy. Human ships started appearing in alien star systems. Not attacking, not threatening, just watching. The aliens didn't understand how this was possible. Human ships were supposed to be slow and limited to human space. But now they were everywhere, appearing and disappearing like ghosts. Admiral Hyun-soo coordinated these movements from Earth. Every ship maintains defensive positions only, he ordered. No weapons charging, no aggressive moves. We're just making our presence known. Min-ho Choi had worked for 36 hours straight upgrading ship systems across the fleet. Technologies that had been secret for years were suddenly being installed on every human vessel. The stealth modifications are complete on 60% of our ships, he reported. The new quantum drives are operational on all major vessels. Good work, Admiral Hyun-soo replied. How are the aliens reacting? Dae-yoon monitored alien communications from her station. They're confused and scared. Some governments are demanding explanations from the Council. Others are asking how humans got advanced technology so quickly. Dr. Taemin translated the most important alien messages. Several species are starting to question the official story about humans being primitive. Our ship appearances are making them think differently. As the 24-hour deadline approached, tension grew throughout the galaxy. Some alien species began demanding answers from the Galactic Council. Others started moving their military forces, unsure of what to expect. Captain Seung-ho completed his mission successfully. Evidence of the conspiracy appeared on 3 major alien worlds. News organizations found the recordings and began broadcasting them. Citizens who had never heard of the extinction plan suddenly learned their governments were planning genocide. The Council is responding, Daeun reported. They're claiming the evidence is fake human propaganda. President Yang watched the alien news broadcast with interest. Are people believing them? It's mixed, Dr. Taemin replied. Some species are accepting the Council's explanation. Others are demanding investigations. What about the species whose ships we've been watching? They're very nervous. They can't understand how we got ships to their home system so quickly. The 24-hour deadline passed. The Galactic Council sent an official response to Earth. Their message was short and arrogant. Human threats are meaningless. Primitive species should accept their fate quietly. President Yang read the message aloud to her staff. The room became very quiet. Well, she said finally, they made their choice. Admiral Park, begin Operation Mirror. Yes, Madam President. Throughout human space, ship captains received their orders. Technologies that had been hidden for years came online. Weapons that aliens didn't know existed powered up for the first time. The galaxy was about to learn that humans were not the species the Council thought they were dealing with. The Galactic Council followed their plan exactly. They attacked the colony world of Nexus Prime, using weapons that looked like human technology. Thousands of aliens died in the bombing. Within hours, news of the human attack spread across the galaxy. 12 alien species immediately declared war on humanity. Their combined fleet was massive, over 3,000 warships heading toward human space. The aliens expected an easy victory against the primitive humans. They were wrong. Commander Insu Kang stood on the bridge of the experimental ship Terra's Fist. His vessel was unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. It could phase in and out of normal space, making it nearly impossible to target. Enemy fleet detected, reported his tactical officer. 3,047 ships approaching from multiple directions. How long until they reach our territory? Insu asked. 6 hours at their current speed. Good. That gives us time to prepare the demonstration. The Terra's Fist was not alone. Around it, space began to shimmer as more human ships appeared. These vessels used technology the Council thought was impossible. They could become invisible, move faster than anything in the galaxy, and strike with perfect accuracy. But Commander In-Su had very specific orders. He was not supposed to destroy the alien fleet. He was supposed to disable it. "All ships, this is Terra's Fist," he broadcast to the human fleet. "Remember your orders. We disable, we don't destroy. Every alien ship that surrenders gets full protection." Dr. Ne Young-Oh, who had transferred from Admiral Hyun-Su's ship, worked at the science station. She was implementing something called Selective Strike Protocol. This allowed human weapons to target specific ship systems without harming the crew. "Commander, I've analyzed the alien fleet composition," she reported. "Most of their ships have standard shield and weapon configurations. Our new weapons can disable them without causing casualties." "Excellent. Begin the demonstration." The battle began when the alien fleet entered what they thought was human space. They expected to find primitive ships and weak defenses. Instead, they found something that challenged everything they believed about technology and warfare. Human ships appeared from nowhere, striking with weapons that seemed to ignore alien shields. But these weapons didn't destroy. They simply turned off alien systems. Ship after ship found their engines dead, their weapons offline, their life support functioning, but their combat ability gone. "What's happening?" demanded Admiral Vextor of the Zephyrian fleet. His flagship had just lost all power to its main weapons. "Unknown, sir," his tactical officer replied. "The human weapons are somehow disabling our systems without damaging the ship structure." Across the battle area, the same thing was happening to every alien vessel. Human ships moved like ghosts, appearing long enough to fire, then vanishing before the aliens could respond. Commander In-Su watched the battle progress on his main screen. "Dr. Oh, what's our casualty count?" "0 human casualties, sir. Alien casualties are at less than 50 across their entire fleet. Most of those are minor injuries from emergency landings when their artificial gravity failed." "Good. Continue the operation." Dr. Tae-Min Lee had joined the battle fleet to handle communications. His job was to broadcast the truth about the Council's conspiracy while the fighting continued. "This is Dr. Tae-Min Lee of the Human Defense Force," he announced on all frequencies. "We are transmitting evidence of the Galactic Council's false flag operation. The attack on Nexus Prime was carried out by Council forces using weapons designed to look like human technology." As he spoke, human ships transmitted detailed recordings of the Council's planning sessions. The evidence was broadcast in 17 different alien languages, making it impossible for any species to claim they didn't understand. Some alien ship captains began to hesitate. The evidence was very convincing, and the way humans were fighting was completely different from what they expected. These were not the actions of a species trying to conquer the galaxy. "Commander," reported his communications officer, "we're receiving surrender requests from 47 alien vessels." "Accept all surrenders immediately," In-Su ordered. "Deploy rescue ships to assist any vessel in distress." This was perhaps the most shocking part of the battle for the aliens. When their ships were disabled, human rescue vessels appeared to help them. Human medical teams treated alien wounded. Human engineers helped repair life support systems. Admiral Vextor couldn't believe what he was seeing. "They're helping us." "Why would they help enemy ships?" His communication officer looked confused. "Sir, I'm receiving a direct message from the human commander. He says any crew that wants to evacuate will be given safe transport to their homeworlds." "This makes no sense. We came here to destroy them." On the Terra's Fist, Commander In-Su was coordinating the most unusual battle in galactic history. His forces had completely disabled the alien fleet in less than 6 hours, but they had also saved every crew member who needed help. "Dr. O, what's the status of the alien fleet?" "All hostile vessels are disabled, sir. No ships retain combat capability. However, all life support systems are functioning normally. Estimated time for their ships to regain basic mobility, 72 hours. "And our rescue operations?" "We've evacuated 12,000 alien crew members who requested transport home. Another 8,000 have chosen to remain with their disabled ships. All are receiving medical care and food supplies." Commander In-Su nodded. "Begin the final phase. Open a channel to all alien vessels." "Channel open, sir." "This is Commander In-Su Kang of the Human Defense Force. Your fleet has been neutralized, but your lives have been preserved. We could have destroyed every ship in your fleet, but we chose not to. We could have left you to die in space, but we chose to help you instead." He paused, letting his words reach every alien ship. The evidence of your leader's conspiracy has been transmitted to your homeworlds. Your own people now know the truth about the attack on Nexus Prime. Humanity did not start this war, but we are prepared to end it. Dr. Taman added his own message. We are sending you home with proof of what really happened. Show your people that humans are not the enemy your leaders claimed we were. As human rescue ships continued helping disabled alien vessels, reports began coming in from across the galaxy. The evidence of the Council's conspiracy was spreading on every world. Citizens who had supported the war were now demanding answers from their governments. Admiral Vextor found himself in the strange position of being rescued by the enemy he had come to destroy. As human medics treated his injured crew, he began to understand that everything his government had told him was wrong. Commander Kang, he broadcast to the Terra's Fist, I owe you an apology. And an explanation to my people. No apology needed, Admiral. Just help us prevent this from happening again. The battle was over, but the real war was just beginning. It was a war fought with truth instead of weapons, with mercy instead of violence, and with hope instead of fear. Back on Earth, President Sujin Yang watched the reports from the battle. Her gamble had worked. Humanity had shown the galaxy their true nature, not conquerors but protectors. Not destroyers but saviors. But she knew the hardest part was still coming. The Galactic Council would not give up easily, and not all alien species would accept the truth. The next phase of their plan would determine whether the galaxy chose peace or continued down the path of war. President Sujin Yang stood in the Earth Command Center, preparing for the most important speech in human history. Around her, screen showed alien worlds across the galaxy. In a few moments, every major species would hear her words directly. Are we connected to all networks? She asked Dr. Yoonji Bae. Yes, Madam President. Every alien communication system is receiving our signal. They can't block this transmission. Admiral Hyeon-Soo Park stood to her right and General Yeon-Woo Park to her left. Behind them, other human leaders represented every major Earth nation. This was not just America or Korea or any single country speaking. This was all of humanity. Begin transmission, President Yang ordered. Across the galaxy, the image of President Yang appeared on screens in alien government buildings, military bases, and public spaces. Her voice was calm but firm as she began to speak. Leaders of the Galactic Council and citizens of all worlds, I am President Sujin Yang of Earth. I speak for all human beings everywhere. In the council chamber, alien leaders watched with angry expressions. They had not expected humans to have the technology for this kind of galaxy-wide broadcast. 2 days ago, your military forces attacked human space based on a lie. The attack on Nexus Prime was not carried out by humans. It was a false flag operation planned by your own council to justify our extinction. Murmurs spread through alien government buildings as officials realized their secret communications had been completely compromised. We have disabled your attack fleet without killing your people. We have provided medical care to your wounded and safe transport to those who wanted to go home. We did this to prove that humans are not the threat your leaders claim. On the alien world of Kepler-7, Admiral Vextor sat in his government's emergency meeting. His own testimony about the human rescue operations was causing major problems for the war supporters. But now, President Yang continued, the time for demonstrations is over. The Galactic Council has 72 hours to dissolve itself and allow independent investigation of this conspiracy. The species responsible for planning genocide must face justice. The council chamber erupted in angry voices. Several alien leaders stood up and began shouting. But President Yang was not finished. Any species that chooses to remain hostile to humanity has the same 72 hours to evacuate all civilian populations from military installations. After that deadline, we will consider all military bases to be legitimate targets. Ambassador Kyung-Min-ju was watching the speech from the council station. He had been working quietly with moderate alien leaders who were disturbed by the evidence of the conspiracy. Now he saw his chance to build a real coalition for peace. This is our opportunity, he told Ambassador Jelvas of the Meridian Republic. Your people have seen the evidence. They know the truth. But if we break with the council now, they might target us next, Jelvas replied nervously. Look around you, Kyungmin said. The council is falling apart. 3 species have already withdrawn their support. How many more will leave before this is over? Intelligence Chief Bitna Kim was coordinating the information campaign from Earth. Her teams had been releasing more evidence of the conspiracy every hour. Internal council communications, financial records, even personal messages between the conspirators. The Fourth Han Empire just announced their withdrawing from the alliance, she reported to President Yang. That's the fourth species to leave the council today. What about the core conspirators? President Yang asked. The hegemony leaders are still claiming the evidence is fake, but their own people are starting to ask difficult questions. As the 72-hour deadline began, something unprecedented happened across the galaxy. Human ships appeared in every major star system simultaneously, not dozens of ships, thousands of them. Chief Engineer Min-Ho Choi had spent weeks preparing for this moment. Technologies that had been theoretical just months ago were now operational across the entire human fleet. How is this possible? Demanded Council Military Chief Vorthak. Humans don't have this many ships. They don't have this technology. His intelligence officer looked terrified. Sir, our estimates of human capabilities were completely wrong. They've been hiding their true strength for years. But the human ships didn't attack. They simply took positions around alien military bases and waited. It was a show of force unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Dr. Yoonji coordinated with xenopsychologist Seo Young Park to begin the most unusual psychological warfare campaign in history. Instead of threats or fear, they broadcast personal messages. Attention families of military personnel on Base Gamma 7, came a gentle voice in perfect alien language. Human ships are positioned near your base, but we do not wish to harm anyone. Any family members who want safe transport away from the base will be picked up at the following coordinates. Similar messages played at every military installation. Human ships offered asylum to alien civilians, medical care to anyone who needed it, and safe passage to anyone who chose peace over war. Captain Seung-Ho Lee, now working as a special envoy, met secretly with moderate alien leaders. His job was to help them organize resistance to the hardline council members. We're not asking you to fight your own people, he explained to a group of alien officials. We're asking you to stand up for the truth. What happens if the council refuses your ultimatum? Asked one of the officials. Then we end this war quickly and permanently, Seung-Ho replied. But we'd rather end it peacefully. As the deadline approached, the galaxy began to fracture. Species that had been allies for centuries found themselves on opposite sides. Some alien governments faced internal revolutions as their citizens learned the truth about the conspiracy. On Earth, President Yang watched the reports coming in from around the galaxy. The strategy was working, but not quickly enough. The Council's core members were still refusing to surrender. Madam President, Admiral Hyun-Soo reported, 17 species have officially withdrawn from the Council alliance. 23 others have declared neutrality. But the remaining 12 species still have significant military forces. What's their combined strength? About 800 major warships and 2,000 support vessels. Still dangerous if they coordinate properly. And their civilian populations? Intelligence Chief Kim estimates that 60% of their civilians have evacuated from military bases. The rest either can't leave or are choosing to stay. President Yang nodded. Continue the evacuation efforts. Every life saved is important. Dr. Seo Young Park had been analyzing alien psychology reports. Madam President, I think the holdout species are scared. They've realized humans are much more powerful than they thought, but they're afraid that surrendering will make them look weak to their own people. What do you recommend? Give them a way to surrender that saves face. Let them claim they're choosing peace for the good of the galaxy. How much time is left on the ultimatum? 18 hours, ma'am. President Yang looked around the command center at her staff. These people had planned and executed the most complex military and diplomatic operation in human history. Now they were 18 hours away from either total victory or a war that could destroy entire civilizations. Send one final message to the Council, she decided. Tell them that any species that chooses peace in the next 18 hours will be welcomed as a founding member of a new galactic confederation. Make it clear that this is their last chance to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. Yes? Madam President, as the message went out across the galaxy, everyone waited to see which path the remaining council species would choose. The fate of billions of people would be decided in the next 18 hours. The 72-hour deadline passed quietly. In the final 6 hours, 9 more alien species had chosen peace over war. Only 3 species remained hostile to humanity, and their own populations were protesting in the streets. President Su Jin-yang stood before the reformed alien leaders on the world of New Concord. This planet had been chosen as the site for a new kind of galactic government, one based on equality rather than the old system of dominant species, controlling weaker ones. Today marks the beginning of a new era, she said to the assembled representatives. The old Galactic Council is gone. In its place, we established the Galactic Confederation, a voluntary alliance of equals. Admiral Hyun-Soo Park watched from the side of the Great Hall. 2 months ago, he had been escorting diplomats to what would have been their deaths. Now he was overseeing the establishment of humanity's first extraterrestrial embassy. The hall was filled with representatives from 43 different species. The 3 holdout governments had fallen when their own people learned the full truth about the conspiracy. The leaders who had planned humanity's extinction were now in prison, awaiting trial by their own courts. Dr. Taemin Lee had been appointed director of the new Intercultural Understanding Institute. His job was to prevent the kind of misunderstandings that had almost led to genocide. We've established translation protocols for 67 languages, he reported to President Yang. More importantly, we've created cultural exchange programs so that species can learn about each other beyond just language. What about the former Council military forces? President Yang asked. Commander In-Soo Kang, now promoted to admiral, answered that question. Most of their ships have been converted to peaceful purposes. Some are helping with disaster relief. Others are working on exploration missions. The crews seem happy to be building things instead of destroying them. The transformation had been remarkable. Species that had been preparing for war just months ago were now collaborating on scientific projects and trade agreements. The fear and suspicion that had dominated galactic politics for centuries was slowly being replaced by cooperation and trust. Dr. Na Young-oh had established the Joint Technology Development Center. For the first time in galactic history, different species were sharing their best scientific knowledge freely. The Zephyrians have amazing biological science, she explained to President Yang. The Meridians are experts in energy systems. The Vorthans understand materials science better than anyone. When we combine human innovation with their specialized knowledge, we can solve problems that seemed impossible. What kind of problems? Disease, hunger, environmental damage. Some species have been struggling with these issues for generations. Now we can help them. Ambassador Kyung Min-ju had become one of the most respected diplomats in the new confederation. His work during the crisis had saved countless lives by convincing moderate species to choose peace. The former council worlds are adapting well to the new system, he reported. Most citizens prefer having a voice in their government, rather than being ruled by a small group of leaders. Da-eun Kim, now head of the Joint Communication Network, had developed systems that allowed instant communication across the galaxy. More importantly, these systems were designed to prevent secrets and conspiracies. All official government communications are recorded and archived, she explained. Citizens can access these records to see what their leaders are really discussing. It makes lies and secret plans almost impossible. The changes went beyond politics and technology. Captain Shung-ho Lee had left military service to become an ambassador. His job was to help former enemies become friends. It's amazing how quickly things can change, he told President Yang during one of their regular meetings. Admiral Vextor, who led the attack on our space, is now working with us to design new peacekeeping protocols. People aren't naturally evil, President Yang replied. They just need leaders who tell them the truth. Chief Engineer Min-ho Choi had perhaps the most rewarding job of all. He was teaching alien engineers how to build the advanced technologies that humans had developed in secret. The hegemony engineers are particularly eager to learn, he reported. They feel guilty about their government's actions and want to make up for it by helping others. Are you comfortable sharing our technology so freely? President Yang asked. Yes, ma'am. Technology is only dangerous when it's used by people with bad intentions. These people want to help their neighbors, not conquer them. Intelligence Chief Bitna Kim had transitioned from gathering secrets to sharing information. Her new organization worked to make sure all species had access to accurate news and data. Misinformation and propaganda were major factors in the crisis, she explained. When people don't know the truth, they make decisions based on fear. We're working to make sure that never happens again. 1 year after the crisis, President Yang visited the first integrated colony world. Here, humans and aliens lived and worked together as neighbors. Children from different species played together in parks designed for multiple types of biology. This is what we were fighting for, Admiral Hyan-Su said as they watched human and alien children playing a game that required cooperation between different species. No. President Yang corrected him gently. This is what we were fighting to preserve. This kind of cooperation was always possible. We just had to prove it to everyone else. Dr. Seo Young Park approached them with an important report. Madam President, we've received a message from deep space. It appears to be a first contact signal from a species beyond our region of the galaxy. President Yang smiled. What do they want? They're asking for permission to visit and learn about our confederation. Apparently, news of our peaceful resolution has spread farther than we thought. And what's our response? Admiral Park has volunteered to lead the first contact mission. This time we'll make sure it goes better than our experience with the Council. As they prepared to leave the colony, President Yang looked back at the peaceful scene behind them. Human and alien families were having dinner together, sharing food and stories. Children were learning multiple languages and playing games that their parents could never have imagined. The crisis that had almost destroyed humanity had instead transformed the entire galaxy. Fear had been replaced by friendship, competition by cooperation, and hatred by hope. Admiral, President Yang said to Hyun-Soo, do you think we would have reached this point without the crisis? I doubt it, he replied honestly. Sometimes people need to see how bad things can get before they're willing to work together to make them better. Then maybe something good came out of the Council's treachery after all. As their ship left the colony and headed back toward Earth, President Yang thought about the future. There would be new challenges, new species to meet, new problems to solve. But for the first time in galactic history, they would face these challenges together. The stars that had once been hostile now shone with the promise of friendship and discovery. The galaxy had learned that diversity made them stronger, cooperation made them safer, and trust made them free. Humanity had issued a final warning to the galaxy, but instead of destruction, they had brought salvation. The treachery of the Galactic Council had failed, replaced by a new confederation built on the principles that humans had always believed in. That all intelligent life deserved respect, that peace was better than war, and that the future belonged to those who chose to build rather than destroy. The new dawn had arrived, and it was brighter than anyone had dared to hope.